Good day and welcome to Wings Unveiled, Conversations with the Brown Butterflies. My name is Nil, and as I bring these special guests every week, my vision and mission is always to build community and connection. The spirit of this series is to uplift, inspire, and empower women by sharing their remarkable stories of growth and resilience. Today, I am so excited to bring you Sandy G. She comes to us from San Carlos, California, and her triumph of adversity, to get over what she had to and how she decided to help others is truly going to touch your heart and uplift your spirit. So Sandy, thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule to join me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Neil.
Okay, absolutely. So I'd like for you to share, Sandy, what aha moment did you have, or a personal story where you decided that, you want to help others and that this was the way that you were going to do it?
Sure. Well, at this point, I can speak English fluently. I'm an award-winning speaker, and I have thousands of English-speaking friends. But things were not always like this. When I first immigrated to the United States 10 years ago, I had a very hard time talking to people because since graduating from college, I hadn't used English for more than 15 years. I majored in English, but I still couldn't understand my neighbors. They spoke too fast, and the English they used was different from what I learned in China. I couldn't even communicate with my daughter's teacher. Wherever I went, I had to ask my husband to go with me. Every day felt like a struggle. I felt useless. I didn't know what to do. Even though I was a successful businesswoman in China, I felt lost after I came to this new country. I didn't have many opportunities because of language barrier. I sold bras for 2 years. Once on the highway to deliver bras, my daughter and I got lost because I didn't understand the GPS. I was terrified. I pulled over and cried. My daughter cried too. Then I heard a voice from deep within me saying, "This is not what you meant to be." I took a deep breath and I told myself, enough is enough. I was determined to speak English fluently. I hired an English coach, read books, watched TV, and talked to native speakers, mimicking their speech patterns. Day by day, week by week, my English started to improve. I began to analyze the way native speakers spoke and practice my English 6 hours a day. Soon, I gained enough confidence to talk to people and solve problems by myself. I felt so independent. That was the freedom I wanted. One day, my friend suggested that I teach English to Chinese people. I thought that was a great idea. As a Chinese immigrant myself, I've gone through all the challenges of learning English. I know how to quickly improve listening and speaking skills. And because I'm bilingual, I can easily explain vocabulary and complex grammar in Chinese. That's my advantage. And I thought about how wonderful it would be if I could help Chinese people with their English so they wouldn't have to struggle like I did. I wanted to help them to get into top colleges, land their dream jobs, live an independent life, maybe even find an English-speaking partner, and so much more. So in 2018, I started to teach English to Chinese people.
Wow. That's wonderful. Oh my goodness, what a journey, I can imagine coming here as a, college graduate and still, not being able to communicate, like you said, with your children's teachers. That was probably, horrifying, right?
Exactly.
So, that's wonderful. That is really, really wonderful. So you said something about selling bras. What did you do in your previous life before you started coaching English?
Before I came to the US, I had an urban landscape company in China for 16 years. We designed and constructed urban landscape facilities such as gazebos, benches, signs, flower planters for parks, gardens, and public squares. Actually, today I brought my old brochure with me. And you can see this is me.
Okay.
And also here are some signs designed and some telephone booths. So these are the products.
Wow. Yeah. And so, they're products. So you definitely, I'm sure you were very successful. So you already knew the sales end of it, but it wasn't really personal, right? And now what you're doing, because it's so personal and you know how it's going to impact your clients, I'm sure you are just a very, very busy woman.
Yes, you said it.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's always what we want to hear, that more power to you. So what would you say is one of the key benefits that your client will gain? I know you mentioned that you can, because you are bilingual, but can you specify a little more?
Oh, sure. The key benefit to my clients is that they can quickly improve their English listening and speaking skills. So they can begin to use English to solve everyday problems and live an independent life in their new country.
Oh, that's true. So they may, I know there's a lot of apps and things you can buy, but like a grandma here, who just wants to be able to speak to their grandchildren, doesn't need to start from the very, very basic, right? I mean, they may just be able to use in context of where they are. So I think, it sounds like you meet each client where they are and what their needs are.
Yeah, everything customized, personalized.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
What they do, what the job is, and to help them with what they really need and want.
Yeah, in a fast and efficient way. That's wonderful.
Yes.
I wish people had that for my Indian languages. That's great. That's a great idea. So for the listeners, I have shared ways that you can get a hold of her, for sure, and I'm sure that you would find her podcast very, very helpful. So I'm so curious. Can you share a success story of one of your clients that you did help and how, your guidance helped them better their lives?
Of course, actually, there are a lot of stories from my clients. So today I'd like to share one story from a student whose name is Mary, and she is a massage therapist. So before she signed up for this program, and she didn't speak English almost at all. And she couldn't understand, of course. That's what she told me. Whenever native speakers talk to me, I just tell them, my English is no good. My English is no good. So this was where she was. So she signed up for this 6-month breakthrough English training program after she joined my master class. And then she started to practice and follow all the instructions step by step, practice every day. She works really hard. She gets home every day like 8:30 or to 9 o'clock at night after she has her dinner, and then she starts to practice 2 hours. And then she sends me the recordings and I give her feedback. So can you imagine 6 months every day she does the same thing? So the support I gave her is daily support. We have 2 one-on-one training each week, and then she made improvement very, very fast. And then one day she shared this story with me during the class, and then she cried and cried. She says, "Look, Sandy, I had to share this thing with you. I can't stop talking because last night there's something happened when I did a massage to my client. Before, I didn't even talk to anybody, especially native speakers. But last night, when I did that, and then I tried to communicate with this client, and he talked to me too. And we had a very good conversation. I understood 80% what he said to me.
Wow.
Oh my God, that was mind blowing. I couldn't believe I could do that. And at the very end, and he even asked me, "Hey, Mary, do you think I can make appointment with you directly? Because, before I had another lady who helped me, but I couldn't talk to her. I couldn't understand her. Do you think it's possible I just, make appointment just with you?" Mary said, Of course.
Yeah.
And she
Oh
was
my goodness.
so excited to be able
Absolutely.
to talk to her clients,
Mhm,
get
mhm.
communicated. And even her boss said, whenever we have native speakers come to our clinic, I just sign up to you, Mary, because you can speak English now. So this is
Yeah.
one of the stories. I feel like I'm so proud of her. And she is such a hard worker.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like the systems you're using and the accountability you're giving them to record and for you to talk to them twice a week, that's a lot. I mean, that's really amazing, So I can see the joy that you had as you were talking about, her success. So that's really good. Hearty congratulations to you. And that success you can see like literally weekly, right? Because you are
Yeah.
getting those recordings and speaking to them. So that's very nice to know that they're achieving, their specific goals weekly. So that's wonderful. So, you have been here now a while. What would you say is the biggest change that you've seen, in humanity in the last 10 or a dozen years since you've been here?
Well, one of the biggest shifts I've noticed in the past decade is how much we rely on technology. I mean, think
Mhm.
about it, our gadgets and AI have become so much a part of our lives that it's hard to imagine living without them. Speaking
Mm.
of AI, it's mind-blowing how it's revolutionizing business from streamlining daily tasks like writing emails and scripting videos. AI is just like a super smart assistant. I use it every day.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. But how do you feel that people are feeling about asking for coaching or asking for support, like in your specific, area or in general? What do you feel about that?
I feel like people seem more open to getting
Mhm.
coached these days. With everything changing so fast, it's become crystal clear that having a coach can be a game changer in reaching your goals efficiently. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And especially like, in the area that you're specializing,
Mhm.
they're almost completely, stuck, right? So
Yeah,
they have to, almost they have no option or they're always going to feel left out, right?
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So that's wonderful. So the last question I have for you is in two parts. And I love to hear people's answer in this. So, what advice would you give your younger self when you were back in China? If you looked back and you could talk to that young Sandy.
I would advise her to simplify her life and stay focused on what she enjoys doing and take good care of herself. When I was
Oh,
younger, I had so many dreams, all sorts of dreams, and
mhm,
easily get distracted by people surrounding me. I care so much about what people thought of me, but now I feel like I have my own dream and that I'm going to focus on it and then do whatever I like and then,
mhm,
take
mhm.
care of myself.
That's true. That's something that most women are really not, so good at, right? Stopping because we're taking care of everybody else, we,
Yeah.
forget about taking care of ourselves. So true. So if you look forward to, the older version of Sandy, let's say in her 80s or 90s, what
Hmm.
would she say to you today from what you achieved, or give you any kind of advice? What would she say?
My older self would tell my current self, follow your passions and spend
Mm.
time with the people who truly matter to you. Life is so short, so make the most of it by doing what you love and cherishing your relationships.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. See, it's not so much in our later part of life, it's not so much, achieving and making lots of money and buying all that stuff. It's really about keeping those connections, right? Maintaining them
Yeah,
and, making your heart go boom, boom, right? By spending time with the people you love and doing what you love. So that's beautiful. That's really nice. Well, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
my
Sandy,
time.
to our listeners, I want to thank you for being part of this journey with us. Remember, each of us carries the potential for transformation within our hearts. Again, I want to thank Sandy for sharing her story and her journey with us. I'm Nil. I thank you for being part of our community. And until next time, keep soaring, brown butterflies.
Thank
All
you.
right, all the best to you, Sandy. Okay.
Supporting all the brown butterflies to find new opportunities and changing their life. Thank you so much, Nil.
You're absolutely welcome.